Tony Khan has fired shots at Vince McMahon, but first, Vince McMahon is no longer in charge of WWE Creative. The recent merger of WWE and UFC has culminated in the creation of a new entity titled TKO Group Holdings, which now functions under the larger umbrella of Endeavor. This restructuring has seen Ari Emanuel ascend to the position of CEO and the most powerful man in WWE, while the former head honcho Vince McMahon has been designated as the executive chairman of the board, with him having a boss for the first time since buying the promotion in 1982. McMahon's recent move back into the WWE business following his retirement last year, specifically to streamline the sales process, prompted him to take back control of the creative process from son-in-law Triple H, who until that point had been heavily praised by the fan base for the changes he'd made to the on-screen product. With that said, according to Mike Johnson of PW Insider, despite Triple H's absence from the TKO board, he's now been, quote, knighted by the new WWE owners, having been given creative control over the WWE product. McMahon, known for his hands-on approach over the decades, appears to have taken a step back in terms of daily creative operations, and while the report notes that Vince is likely to provide his insight and suggestions, the lion's share of creative responsibility will rest on Levesque's shoulders and is expected to oversee 99.9% of all creative decisions, being deeply involved in crafting the television shows. Additionally, Johnson's report paints a picture of the current atmosphere backstage in WWE, with noting that the present mood is one of renewed hope and palpable excitement. The staff and talent are said to be optimistic about the future, looking forward to the direction in which Triple H will steer the company going forward. And next, has a major AEW World Championship match just been teased? On the latest episode of Being the Elite, MJF would shower his love onto the Elite, this before sending a chilling message to Kenny Omega. This encounter has led to speculation about a possible showdown between the two men in the future. During the episode's introduction, Maxwell Jacob Friedman made his way into the Elite's locker room, and as he entered, he was quick to praise Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, recalling his recent praise for the tag team on social media. The exchange between MJF and Kenny Omega, however, was more than tense. Both briefly bonded over recent attacks that they suffered on Dynamite, with MJF being ambushed by Jay White and Kenny Omega being taken out at the hands of Powerhouse Hobbs. But just when it appeared that this might foster a moment of camaraderie, MJF leaned in and whispered to Omega, 26 days, you fucking bitch. To add context, MJF is on the brink of surpassing Kenny Omega's 346-day reign as AEW World Champion, a run that currently has him sitting as the longest reigning champ in history. As of this recording, MJF has held the belt for 324 days since defeating Jon Moxley at AEW Full Gear 2022. The angle could be an early sign that the best bout machine and the man that's better than you are on a collision course, this in the coming weeks and months, with MJF continuing to tease that he could be WWE bound come January 2024, with there being a built-in story of Omega, an EVP and founder of AEW, being the one to stop him taking the belt elsewhere. If he keeps hold of the title, MJF will surpass Kenny's record on November 1st, although AEW's next pay-per-view is not scheduled until November 18, and it may well be too late to stop him becoming the all-time longest reigning champion. Next up, WWE have once again trolled fans with another CM Punk reference. The wrestling community has been rife with speculation surrounding a potential return of CM Punk to WWE, with eagle-eyed fans catching apparent subtle references that hint towards his comeback, especially within the storyline involving Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins. Over the past several weeks, statements that fans feel are a tease of Punk have surfaced, such as on the October 6th episode of WWE SmackDown, where Corey Graves would say the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was to make the world forget that he existed. This a line, at least in the wrestling world, associated with Punk, although Graves himself has disputed this. Furthermore, phrases reminiscent of Punk's past promos, such as Seth Rollins' claim that he will be the best in the world when he defeats Shinsuke Nakamura at Fastlane, which was followed by Michael Cole telling the Architect that he has turned from puppeteer to puppet, with fans feeling this is in relation to the same ROH promo promo that the Devil line was used in. Well, it's another day and another CM Punk reference in WWE, as on last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, right before Ricochet, Chad Gable and Bronson Reed battled it out for the #1 contendership for the Intercontinental title, Shinsuke Nakamura would ambush Ricochet and laid him out with a go to sleep, a move often used by the Second City Saint. All of this could of course just be coincidence, or if it's not, it doesn't necessarily indicate that CM Punk's return is coming, with it perhaps being a case of WWE trolling fans based on the reaction to the first reference. In any case, it certainly feels like WWE know what they're doing at this point. Regarding the aforementioned GTS, the originator of the move and current New Japan Pro-Wrestling star Kenta would take to social media to joke that the move was in fact a hint of his own WWE return, where he worked under the name of Hideo Itami, and he would simply write, "See you at Survivor Series, LOL." Next up, 2 WWE title matches have been confirmed. Elsewhere on last night's episode of Monday Night Raw, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, fresh from his recent title defense against Shinsuke Nakamura at Fastlane, came down to the ring to address his future. After promising to remain a fighting champion, his speech would be interrupted by former WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, who wasted no time in challenging Rollins for the World Heavyweight title. Expressing his desire for Rollins to be at his best, McIntyre suggested that their bout take place at the forthcoming Crown Jewel Premium Live event, a challenge that was accepted without hesitation, setting the stage for one of the marquee matches at the upcoming event in Saudi Arabia. In another segment on the same episode, the scene was set for the Intercontinental Championship going forward, as Bronson Reed emerged victorious against both Chad Gable and Ricochet, securing his position as the #1 contender for the title. Reed's moment came after landing a tsunami splash on Ricochet. It's worth noting that, as mentioned earlier in the video, prior to the match, Ricochet was ambushed by Shinsuke Nakamura, which seemingly sets up a feud going forward. As a result of his victory, Reed is now slated to challenge longest reigning Intercontinental Champion Gunther on the October 16 episode of Monday Night Raw, which goes down next week. And next, Tony Khan has fired shots at Vince McMahon. Tonight, AEW and WWE will go head-to-head when Dynamite and NXT air on the same night in the same time slot. This when the All Elite show was moved to Tuesday this week due to a clash with TBS's coverage of the MLB playoffs tomorrow night. Over the past week or so, both shows have begun to stack their respective cards in order to compete with the other, with WWE sending many main roster talents as well as a returning legend to the Black and Gold brand for the night, whilst Dynamite will present the Title Tuesday special and will be the home of the first AEW match of a certain WWE Hall of Famer of their own. Last night, both sides would take another step in order to win the ratings battle this evening, with WWE confirming that NXT will be commercial free for the first half hour, a move then matched by AEW a little later on. In addition to this, AEW would then announce that there will be a pre-show ahead of AEW Dynamite tonight, where Eddie Kingston will defend both his ROH World and NJPW Strong Openweight Championships against veteran Minoru Suzuki. In light of the imminent battle, House of Wrestling revealed that they have spoken with a fired-up WWE source close to the NXT brand, who told them that WWE are looking to show a very clear example of how WWE is WWE and why AEW has a long way to go during tonight's head-to-head, before adding that the feeling is that AEW had been lulled into a false sense of reality, that they were somehow an industry leader by continuing to be WWE's #3 brand in viewership during the Wednesday Night Wars, which of course spanned from late 2019 till early 2021. Regarding the feeling within WWE towards AEW, the report adds, "It also sounds as if there's lingering tensions from the infamous Wednesday Night War, with the idea that Tony Khan could have run Dynamite on Thursdays and the two would never have gone head-to-head. With Levesque now squarely back in charge of WWE Creative and Shawn Michaels taking pride in being the best, it was said Khan poked the wrong ones at the wrong time. The fact that this is all happening on Khan's 41st birthday was also pointed out to me, with it sounding like WWE NXT is fine spoiling his party." The report concludes by noting that we can expect some, quote, great storytelling on NXT tonight, intended to shine up some of the younger talents by using main roster stars, with a clear goal of creating stars of the future. Within all of the announcements from both shows, AEW President Tony Khan has been vocal on social media ahead of tonight, with him responding to a fan who told him that they won't be watching Dynamite by posting a Roderick Strong gif that reads, "Who gives a f***?" Another fan would reply to Khan, telling him that AEW fans would cry if Vince McMahon issued the same response online, before Tony hit back by saying, "If Sir Vince McMahon said this, it would be the least of his alleged misdeeds. Hashtag AEW Title Tuesday on TBS. Tuesday AEW Dynamite tonight." Khan would then quote tweet the aforementioned House of Wrestling report regarding Triple H and Shawn Michaels' intention to send a message to AEW, with him posting an image of graffiti that reads "bold asshole," noting that he has a message of his own. With all that said, it's shaping up to be a fun night of wrestling on both sides of the fence, with each show being forced to take their product to the next level in the face of competition, with NXT set to see appearances from John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Asuka, and The Undertaker, with former NXT champions Bron Breakker and Carmelo Hayes expected to main event the show. On the other hand, Dynamite will see the AEW in-ring debut of Rated R superstar Adam Copeland, as well as an appearance from AEW World Champion MJF, 2 title matches, as well as a #1 contenders bout for the TNT Championship, with the likes of Jon Moxley, Bryan Danielson, and Jay White all in action for their respective matchups. But which show will you be tuning into tonight? Will it be NXT, AEW Dynamite, or perhaps even both? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out what's next for the WWE releases of September 2023.